We've seen the security personnel arriving, and this clearly an indication that the former president will be in attendance. Jacob Zuma, talk to us.
Well, Leanne, it certainly seems so at this stage. Just a few moments ago, I went inside the court and found members of the Presidential VIP Protection Unit that were here just scouting out the court, which clearly gives an indication that the former president, Jacob Zuma, will be at the first day of his son's culpable homicide trial. And you'd recall, Leanne, that he has been there side by side, his son, but really shying away from speaking to the media, together with Duduzane in the past appearances that we've seen here at the Randburg Magistrates Court. So we're expecting no different this morning for him to sit on the benches in the gallery with him before he goes and sits in the dock. Of course, 5 years later, as I earlier indicated, that Duduzane Zuma will now finally answer to the deaths of Phumzile, Dube, as well as Nanki Mashaba. Of course, the families believe that justice will finally prevail this time around, and that they believe that Duduzane Zuma should be held criminally liable for the deaths of their loved ones. We're expecting both families to be here today. They've really shied away from speaking to the media, Leanne, over the past couple of months. We understand they've been given an instruction not to speak to the media, but I think what does give an indication of the way that this trial will go is that you'd recall in 2014 that there had been an inquest into the death of Phumzile Dube, and that particular inquest found that Duduzane Zuma was reckless in his behavior on that day. Duduzane has, of course, well maintained since the very beginning that at that time it was raining heavily and that he could not basically avoid that accident when his car rammed into the minibus taxi. But these families believe that Duduzane Zuma should be held criminally liable, and they're hoping that at the end of the day, this court will bring them the closure that they say they want. I think what's also important to note is that you'd recall during that inquest as well, the taxi driver who was behind the wheel on that fateful day did testify. He's expected to be one of the witnesses that will take the stand sometime this week. What we do know is that a maximum of about 3 witnesses will take the stand this morning. State witnesses will take the stand this morning. And we understand that all 3 of those are male at this stage. We cannot, of course, mention exactly who they are, but the state will really try to push and rely, of course, on the findings of that inquest that found that Duduzane Zuma was reckless on the day that the accident itself had taken place.
All right, Chriselda, thanks very much for covering the story for us. Just in terms of, one more question, in terms of the defence, who will be leading Zuma's defence?
Well, Leanne, I think it's also important to mention as well on the part of the state, the very state prosecutor who had presided over the inquest in 2014 into the death of Phumzile Dube is the very same state prosecutor who will be leading this particular trial. And for the defense, it will be Rudy Krause, who the SABC has also tried to engage over the past few days, but he really did not want to speak to the media, saying that all will be revealed inside this court. And we're really expecting the state, Leanne, from some of the knowledge that I've managed to get over the past couple of days, is that the state might possibly use some of the visuals or some of the pictures that were obtained shortly after the accident had taken place. When I walked inside court just a couple of minutes ago, Leanne, I can see there were black boards that were put up in court 13 where Duduzane Zuma will appear, which does indicate that some charts, I do believe at this stage, that will be pictures of the accident scene itself will be put up. So the state would want to demonstrate exactly how bad the accident was and how Phumzile Dube had met her untimely death when Duduzane Zuma's car had rammed into that taxi. So we're expecting, the state to really push this court to believe that Duduzane Zuma was reckless on that particular day, and that given the fact that Duduzane has always maintained that there'd been poor visibility on that particular day because of the heavy rains, they would really try to discard that or dispel that notion that he has been putting forward since the very beginning.
All right, let's leave it there. Chriselda Lewis, thanks very, very much for talking to us there, covering the court case of Duduzane Zuma. He should be arriving at the court as well as Chriselda was saying, his father, Jacob Zuma, former president, should also be there at the court. It certainly looks that way with the security in place.